Weed scientist Chris O'Donnell is one of the principal researchers at the Centre for Pesticide Application Safety. Together with Andrew Hewitt and a small team, they're producing groundbreaking work on spray drift. And when a delegation of agricultural chemical regulators visited their lab, Chris O'Donnell explained the mechanics of how they measure drift.
We use a tracer dye. We don't actually analyse for active ingredient because that's just way too expensive. It would cost hundreds of dollars to do a single sample if we're analysing for active. But by substituting a fluorescent dye, we can do the same sort of work for virtually just the cost of the dye, which is only a few cents per run. The dye gets sprayed onto our collector lines, and we then simply retrieve the lines, wash them in deionised water and see how much dye was on those lines. And that allows us to quantify the amount of driftable fines that nozzle produced.
It's the driftable fines that are the major problem. Fines are the atomised mist of chemical that can be carried off target.
Our GRDC project is looking at drift reduction technologies. So we're testing a large variety of nozzles, certain adjuvants which will coarsen up a spray, and at various wind speeds. And the data shows us that there are some very good nozzles available these days that reduce the amount of driftable fines quite remarkably.
As well as reducing drift, the Gatton Research Project is looking at formulation efficacy. If the efficacy of a herbicide is not maintained, the research outcomes and new technologies may not be adopted by spray applicators, says Chris O'Donnell.
They must still get good efficacy, good results for them to adopt what we're promoting here at the moment. Now, we have done previous work in a previous GRDC project where we looked at herbicide efficacy with fine, medium and coarse sprays on a suite of hard to control weeds. And that research was very interesting. It basically found we could maintain very good efficacy with our coarse sprays, even on grasses.
Efficacy evaluation will be the focus of field trials to take place over the coming 12 months and will involve coarse sprays applied to paddocks with and without crop stubble. For more information, contact Chris O'Donnell at the Centre of Pesticide Application Safety.